Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video for all you fine people on your Monday, April 18th. If you're on the Canadian side of the border, of course, it's Easter Monday. So, Robin Lehner is expected to start tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. There was a family member who had a health issue. Apparently that's cleared up now, so he's back. He's playing tonight. That's at least the expectation against New Jersey, and of course for Vegas, they need all the points they can get. They are not in control of their own destiny at this point, so they have to keep winning and hope the teams ahead of them are losing their games when they play. So, yeah, we'll see how Lehner does tonight. On the Colorado front, lots of injury stuff going on with them right now. So, Kadri is close, but he's not in tonight. Their blue line will be shorthanded. It'll be without Devon Taves, without Eric Johnson as well. Neither of them will be in the lineup, and it's all undisclosed. We're at that part of the year where they're not even telling us upper body or lower body a lot. It becomes, well, it's undisclosed. We're not going to tell you. But McDermott's returning for the Colorado Avalanche tonight. So that's good news. McDermott being back in the lineup, a little bit of toughness in there. But of course, losing Taves on the blue line, that absolutely hurts. We'll see how things go for them. And Johnson's not exactly a slouch either in that category. But for Colorado, they've been doing next player up all season, so we'll see how things go for them tonight. Kaapo Kakko is expected to be back for the playoffs. He may end up coming back before the end of the regular season for the Rangers. They're hoping he does come back and play for them, but it looks like it'll likely be the playoffs. At least that's where they're guessing. And again, we're only a couple of weeks from the start of the playoffs, so it's not a major injury. It's just won't be back in time for that handful of games they've got left. Boston news is both good and bad. The good news is Pastrnak and Lindholm skated before practice, so at least they're skating. The bad news is they're not at practice, so they're not even at the regular practice in non-contact jerseys. Pasternak's been out for a couple weeks now, and I really think that this is a worse injury than Boston's letting on. Again, it's all cloak and dagger at this time of year. We all have to kind of, read between the lines and try to figure out what they're telling us or not telling us. I do have suspicions that Pastrnak probably doesn't play again until the playoffs, and we'll see with Pastrnak and Lindholm if that's in fact the case. And of course, for Boston, their concern has to be, well, they've clinched a playoff spot. If they don't win enough games down the stretch, they end up in that second wild card, and you don't want to do that because you end up with Florida. I don't think anybody wants to play Florida in the playoffs. I think they'd rather take their chances with either the Rangers or Carolina, whoever wins that division. And so we shall see. Tonight's matchup between Dallas and Vancouver is going to be an interesting one, in that Dallas is 3-0-1 in their last four, which has helped them solidify their spot in the playoffs. It's as solid as their last game, so if they lose tonight in regulation, that may throw everything up into disarray, especially if Vegas wins tonight in regulation. Well, in any fashion, because Dallas doesn't have a tiebreaker on Vegas with regulation. They don't have a tiebreaker on Nashville with regulation wins either. And of course, for Vancouver, 5 wins in a row. They need to basically win out from here. Vancouver's road ahead. I know they have a direct meeting with the LA Kings, but this is not an easy road for Vancouver at all for them to get in. The fact that we're still talking about them potentially being a playoff team is awesome, but I again don't think that the odds are in their favor, and the odds would tell you it's not in their favor, but keeping the faith and all that, I get it. I totally get it. And it's nice to see Vancouver at least in the hunt for the first time in a while over an 82-game schedule. Florida's up to 10 wins in a row. The team's record is 12. That was set from December 15th, 2015 to January 10th, 2016. They have a good chance. Their next 2 games are against the Islanders and the Detroit Red Wings. So they absolutely could equal that record. And then to break it, they'd have to beat Toronto. So that'll be an interesting one for them. And it'll be an interesting one for Toronto. The Toronto Maple Leafs set records with their 50th win and their 106th point. And there's been a lot of chuckling from other fan bases about this. It is interesting to me how other people would laugh at it. I'll say this. Toronto's had some very good teams. The early 2000s, they had some very good teams. The late 90s, mid-90s, they had some very good teams. Did they win 50 games? No. 50 games was harder to reach before we had the 3-point games, before we had overtime wins, shootout wins, and all the like. So it does feel like there's some teams who've really padded records with the extra points that are available now. And for Toronto, back when they won a Stanley Cup and were wearing this logo, back in 1967, you had a shorter schedule. You didn't have overtime at all. And so you could have a team win a Stanley Cup and be an excellent team without getting 50 wins. So All the best to Toronto, the 50 wins, the 106 points. They're in a very good position to probably finish second in their division. It's very unlikely they fall back from second. They are now 6 points clear of Tampa. But again, I get it, I guess on some level, but this is not something that I think is necessarily laugh-worthy. Because I've mentioned how team records are falling by the wayside this year when it comes to individual records. And yeah, there are some teams that have had records of points and goals and everything that seem a little bit low, but you have to look a little bit deeper than that. So we'll see how things go for Toronto come playoff time. That is what everybody's waiting for, and that's only a couple of weeks off. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.